Well, thank you so much, Ibrahim, for joining us, for making the time. So everyone, let me introduce you to Dr. Ibraheem Samirah. Ibrahim is my Virginia House delegate from District 86. He grew up in the Chicago suburbs, enjoyed a typical American childhood, but that all changed in middle school when his father traveled to Jordan to care for his ailing mother and then was denied re-entry to the US by the Bush administration. So his family was uprooted and relocated to Virginia to stay together and fight for their father's reinstatement. It took 11 years, but they won. He worked hard in school so he could one day give back to the country he loved. Ibrahim attended American University and went on to Boston University for dental school. Today, he runs a community-based dental practice serving patients throughout Metro DC. And as you know, now he serves in Virginia's House of Delegates on behalf of Hundon, Reston, Chantilly, and Sterling to give back. His goal is to help families stay healthy with more opportunities to succeed and more time to spend together. So I invited him to our meeting today for direct engagement opportunity for everyone in this group to share their thoughts with him and ask any questions on his voting record, especially the qualified immunity bill last week. So all, without any further ado, I give you my super delegate, Ibraheem Samirah.
Thank you, Alia.
You're welcome.
Thanks everybody for having me. Really appreciate you all doing all the work that you guys did during the convention, state, those that rose to the national. Of course, I got to know the folks at the national more because I was an automatic Bernie delegate. And so that's how it led me to the national kind of focus. So I see Zaina on here, who I work pretty closely with on a lot of different things. There's a lot going on in special session. We've been passing a lot of criminal justice reform bills. We had 12 marquee ones that were introduced in the House. All but one passed. The one that didn't pass was the ending qualified immunity bill. That being said, now that they've gone through the Senate, I think now we're down to half of them are still alive. I think the half that are still alive have been watered down significantly as well. So there's been a lot of damage done by the Senate, things that I predicted ahead of time. And that's kind of the stuff that I think most people don't know. So I hear a lot of, first initial questions being asked of Delegate Guzman earlier, which is what can we do to make the Senate better, et cetera. And I think you guys may have sensed already that we've given up on the Senate years ago. I've been around for a year and a half and I've already given up on the Senate. And there's a lot of reasons to give up on them. It's literally because of their votes and also because we follow the money. We figure out exactly who's who and who's under whose control. And so we know the Senate is entrenched in the Virginia way. For those that don't know the Virginia way, there's a really great book out there to read about it. And so somebody who is in the kind of situation that I'm in, being a strong progressive, as I've earned it. That's something that I don't just say casually. My track record as votes goes is all public. Please do check it out. And if you have any questions about any votes that I've taken, please do mention them. Of course, I know there was the most questions about the qualified immunity bill because it was so confusing for many people as to yes means no and no means yes. What does that actually mean in this context? And how does this all play out? And so it seemed like I was working against the movement for justice when I voted against the bill to end qualified immunity. Far from it. Progressives get taken for granted in all sorts of levels of politics, and it's no difference in the state legislative positions that I and Delegate Guzman are a part of. Bills that we introduce usually get killed. They don't even get a hearing. If you guys watched me try to introduce the public option at the Medicare price 3 weeks ago, I got shut down on the floor of the General Assembly from speaking about it. I got shut down in committee. I was promised 20 minutes. I got 12. My witnesses from the coalition that I built together was not even allowed to even speak. These are respected organizations that spend millions of dollars on advocacy for fighting for affordable health care. Didn't even get a chance to speak in committee. We're not even talking about regular constituents and residents of the Commonwealth that would love to speak about how we can make healthcare affordable. So we're just this is just the basics for me as far as a legislator in Virginia. It's terrible. I hate to make it sound like that, but it is absolutely terrible for progressives. And so the best, most powerful thing that I have in my hands are these votes right here. These are the buttons. Okay, these are the buttons that give me the power. Okay, the most powerful ones are yay and nay. That's all I have. Those are the buttons that I have. And so how can I, as a strong progressive, make it clear that I don't like watered down bills? I don't like it that we introduce legislation that doesn't go the full mile. How do I confront incrementalism? I have two votes, yes and no. And so when the bill goes through committee process, like ending qualified immunity, and it gets killed because my Republican colleagues on the Democratic side of the aisle, that's how I like to call them, go and gut a bill and make it so weak and don't put any teeth to it. And here I am, a progressive, among many other strong progressives that I'm slowly losing as well. I'm slowly losing them on my side. Why? Because we're not effective as progressives. And so they see more effectiveness by moving closer to the center. How do I begin to empower them to believe that they have colleagues who are willing to use those two buttons to further progressive values? And furthermore, how do I use my intel and my understanding that the Senate is going to kill all these bills to my advantage on the House side? These are all intricate questions that you expect a leader to address, to think about on their own, to try to maneuver so that we can eventually land a negotiation table that will strengthen our position now and into the future. For not just this bill, for many other bills that come ahead of us that are considered progressive bills that get watered down and are told to us that this is the best you can get. So I used my knowledge that the Senate was going to kill the bill by a wide margin, which now in hindsight 2020 now is fully clear to the public, and now nobody's doubting what I said. But back when I did my vote, everybody thought that there was a chance the Senate would pass it. It got killed 12-3. Okay, that's a margin of 9 votes. That was very far from passage. The 5 Democrats that were supposed to vote alongside the party in the progressive movement that refused to vote, I had spoken to prior because I have relationships with these individuals. These are my colleagues. Even if I extremely disagree with them and I wish them many primaries as well, I still am able to communicate with them and figure out where their intentions are as far as legislation and where they want to see themselves on specific votes. So I knew ahead of time that they were firm in their no, and they had many reasons, many illegitimate reasons why they were going to vote no. And I kept that in mind, and I moved about the power structures that be the Virginia way, the one-party system, as I like to call it. How am I going to maneuver as a progressive the one-party system? So I decided to take a stand that made it very clear that I don't like watered-down bills. I don't like fake progressivism. I don't like to see these types of things happen on my watch. And it doesn't reflect my district as well. My district is a deep blue district, as the political terms like to call it, and I'm going to represent my deep blue district. This is how I'm going to represent it. And I'm going to make sure that the people that voted no get exposed, because usually they get a pass. Why do they get a pass? Because they're centrists. Well, guess what? If you're in a deep blue district and you're a centrist, I think you're representing your constituents wrong. And the public needs to know that. And sometimes it takes a progressive with a clean reputation to make it seem like that they might be voting the wrong way, but when you dig deep and you find out they actually voted the right way, which is with your values, moving to the left of the issue. And furthermore, that they have a logic to it. So that what I described was maybe a little late. I should have, you know, and I see Alia again, you know, she one of her biggest criticisms of me as a constituent was that I didn't inform the public of what I was going to do. Look, I didn't know the public cared about procedural legislative issues. This is the first time I've seen anybody ask me any questions about voting with the prevailing side and how you bring a bill back to life and what it means to vote no on a bill that is progressive. This is the first time I've gotten attention for any bill whatsoever. I've had tens of bills get killed last session that didn't even receive. I don't think anybody on this line would even know about.